We are continuing our discussion on easements. I have my notes here like I always do. My name is Nicholas Coriano. You can follow me on Twitter. You can check out our blog at homescape, HOMSKAPE.com. Let's get to it. So in this video, we're going to talk about the scope of easements. So the scope of an easement cannot be exceeded from the original easement, right? So if you have an easement to drive up through another piece of property to get to your property, and the driveway is 15 feet wide, you cannot come in with a bulldozer and make the driveway 40 feet wide. That is unreasonable, and it exceeds the original easement that was given to you. Another note, if unforeseeable circumstances change, the scope of the easement can change as long as it's not excessive burden to the owner of the servient parcel. So, for example, in the same example I just gave, your driveway is 15 feet wide. And for some reason, the earth is corroding where you're at on the farm, and it makes more sense to make the driveway 16 feet wide. Here, as long as it's not an excessive burden to the owner. So, for example, I'll give you two examples. One, you're going through the driveway, it's 15 feet wide. You need to get it wide to 16 feet because it keeps corroding in the summer. It's easier to plow for whatever reasons. There's a reasonable reason why you should be 16 feet. The owner has a house, a mile away on the same property. He's not farming there. It's not really hurting him to do it. That's okay. Now, if that road was a mile long and the farmer had crops along the right side of the road, for example, where you wanted to add the extra foot, and those crops amounted to $1 million in revenue, that may be seen as an excessive burden. So in that case, they may tell you to add to the road on the other side, right? So remember, the scope of an easement cannot exceed the original easement. But if unforeseeable circumstances change, so something has to change, right? It can't be that you just want an extra foot on the road. Maybe the town mandated that you have to put an extra foot on the road. Maybe the road corroded, right? If unforeseeable circumstances change, the scope of the easement can change as long as it is not an excessive burden to the owner of the servient parcel. Remember, the servient parcel is the one who's giving you the right. He's like your servant by giving you the right. A nuisance is an unreasonable burden, right? So just a little tip there, and we'll go over nuisance later. But a nuisance is an unreasonable burden. So if you're expanding of the easement becomes a nuisance, it's an unreasonable burden. So I'll give you the scope of easements. My notes on scope of easements again. My first note is scope of easements cannot exceed the original easement. That's the first rule you need to know. But if unforeseeable circumstances change, the scope of the easement can change as long as it's not an excessive burden to the servient parcel. So I hope this was helpful. Stay tuned, subscribe to the page, put on your notifications so we can be alerted next time we have a new tip or a new vocabulary word for you guys in real estate investing or land investing. And we'll talk again soon. Check out our blog at Homescape and follow us on Twitter at Homescape, HOMSKAPE. Thank you guys for joining, and we'll talk again soon.